Welcome, everybody. We're back for Talk Openly. We've been gone for a couple weeks now. But back and ready to roll. My name's Jack. I'm with my wonderful friend Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Jack. It's nice to
Oh,
be with
hi.
you.
It's really nice to be with you too. Yeah, I missed you last week.
Yeah. Happy
But I
birthday, by the way.
thank you.
And
Yeah.
everybody, it was Jack's birthday.
Yeah, it was really sweet. There was a Buddha Dharma study program event on Saturday, so I joined by Zoom and like halfway through, Ellen had everybody sing happy birthday. So it was really
Perfect.
sweet. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Aw,
Good
good.
to have friends.
Excellent. Yes, indeed. And we're all grateful that you were born.
Thanks. Yeah, I am too. Even I wanna end the cycle of birth and death, but for right now, I think it's a good one. I'm in like the most kind of fruitful situation um than I think is possible on planet Earth right now, right? For studying Dharma.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate. So maybe not the I'm not sitting next to the Dalai Lama, but I have sangha and I have an incredible teacher. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty
Those
darn
are
good.
good. You got all the fixins for a good Dharma dish.
All the fixins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see you. Sorry I'm late. My
Oh, good.
cat got under the porch and he was just very slowly meandering and taking his time. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it's all good. He's
Cats have a way of teaching us important things such as patience.
They sure do. And equanimity because he has no patience with me.
Oh, right, of course.
Like zero, absolutely zero patience
Yeah.
with me. He's very bossy. But then I have to have patience for him. That's a hard type of person or, being to feel compassionate for, right? Is when like, you're really doing all the work to be like a kind,
Hmm.
helpful human, and then the other person is just like, meh, 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 or like,
Whew.
not
Yeah.
reciprocating the kindness, right?
Yeah.
And how to maintain that. Yeah, that is our work, right?
Indeed it is. Not you can't expect a standing ovation,
Can't expect a standing
especially
ovation,
not from a cat.
especially not from a cat. Oh my God, and this cat in particular.
Yeah, little
But I
bossy
love
guy.
him. He is
Oh,
a bossy guy. I do love him though. Well, tell me, how are you doing? How have your couple weeks been?
it's groovy. Really groovy.
Hmm.
Yeah, life is doing life stuff, nice ups and downs and all of that. And throughout all of that, my practice is nice and strong, and I'm very, very pleased with it. I've had the good fortune. I thought so. I was looking for a new Dharma book to read, and I was like, I just finished Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand, and was like, I need something lighter, easier, whatever. And so somebody had dropped off at the Dharma Center. I forget their name, but they had dropped off this huge treasure trove of books, like just massive. And, I'm like, I don't really need more books, but there were a handful that were like called out to me. And
Mm.
one of them, I don't know if I'll be able to show it here on the screen. Let's see
Oh,
here. Hang on, let's see if I can get it.
how to something yourself.
Here, I'll just read it. You can see the Dalai Lama on there, but it's
Yeah.
how to see yourself as you really are by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I was like, this should, his books are really quite accessible. And I was like, all right, this is cool. And so I started, and it's small, So I was like, this is good. Uh, but it's quite profound, like he gets right into it. And the gist that I'm getting from it is on the
Mhm.
one hand, yes, love and compassion, but it absolutely must be combined with insight in order to really make some progress here. And
Mm,
so he's very articulately uh, describing emptiness and, dependent origination and like, yeah, exactly how to see ourselves as we really are. And what's really nice about it is it's easy to digest, very easy to sort of like to get what he's saying. And at the end of each short chapter, there are meditations,
mm,
and so I've been bringing a lot of that into my meditations, and it's been quite fruitful. So like I'm super grateful to the Dalai Lama for this book. It was, I haven't actually, I've listened to, a decent number of his talks, but I haven't read a lot of his books.
mhm.
And I just like, I'm like, man, what a great teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, good stuff. And
yeah.
yeah, I'd say the rest of my practice is just, yeah, going swimmingly. It started like I bookend my day now, which is really nice. So I start the day, with various practices and meditation, and same in the evening, and it's just delightful. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you do you feel like uh or have you been able to add in this extra session because you just have more time, or is it because you feel like your bodhisattva energy is just making more time in the day? We've talked about
Exactly,
that.
it's the
Yeah.
latter. I get what you're saying, and yeah, in fact, yesterday I was like. Had been such a full day with lots of practice, but also work and kids and I mean, it was a very, very, very full day. And I was like, man, like I can't, it must be like done. Like I must be, right? Like I can't, like it must be late. I hadn't been paying attention to the time. And it was only like 8:30. So
Right.
I was like, dang, this is awesome. I have time to read some more and do more practice. And it dawned on me it was exactly that, this capacity, this energy, just I would say, I wanted to say that like it distorts time. It doesn't. But something, I think it's because different things get prioritized different, like it just something shifts there. So things that would normally take a lot of my time and attention just don't.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not quite sure how it works, but definitely there's some kind of time dilation happening
Yeah.
there, and yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's that energy, It definitely feels like a heightened energy, and being put to good use. So
Nice. I
yeah.
do wonder, I don't know if this sounds true to you, but I wonder if like h- just paying more attention, because I do feel like when I'm having one of those days where it's just like expansive and I'm doing a lot of practice, but a lot of everything else, that I'm also just paying attention more. And so I'm wondering, maybe there's some element of like I know when I'm having like a day like today where I'm really just kind of like dragging my feet and like not really engaging strongly in my practice. It's kind of lukewarm. Um, I have a really hard time focusing. Like I'm not like if I try and pick up a
Uh-huh.
book, it's like it'll take me forever to read a page, But when I'm really like kind of in that like spirit, it's like, wow, I really understand. I'm paying attention.
Yeah. Yes, Jack, exactly what you're saying. So I would, when I'm going through the what like
The
what did
doldrums.
the doldrums, or like what did Lama call it one time? He was telling me once, he's like, it's the ice fields before you start climbing up Everest or whatever. Like
Mhm.
there are these like treacherous, sort of like hard, slow going, not pleasant, not a good view sort of periods. So something like that. When I'm in those, it's exactly what you described. Like I'll still be like trying to
Yeah.
do practice, but I think as I described last time, there's a sense of in those moments, like I am trying to make something happen,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so like, and when I'm trying to do it, and I've got a book in front of me, like I can't do it. I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
it's like it feels really hard. And so like I would take even a book like the one I'm talking about here would be very difficult. I would probably just read it and the words would just kind of go in and out and I
Yeah.
wouldn't nothing would happen with it. And so but now it doesn't feel like I'm personally doing much, right? Like I'm being carried somehow by this wind, and so it does feel a lot more clear, a lot more aware. Like there's a much greater awareness that sort of accompanies it. And so I suppose that probably, it's both an increase in capacity as a result of that, but also just a fullness
Mm.
that I'm aware of. Whereas, before ignorance is my strong suit. So, you know, when it's super prevalent, then it wouldn't feel quite as effective or easy.
Yeah.
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 Well, yeah, I'm gonna be watching for that kind of sludge feeling that I get sometimes, like if there's that, sense that I'm doing it, and I can't do it. And um something about that feels very true to me, but I just need to practice noticing more.
You know what I think, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think that what has sort of maybe it's not shifted so much, but maybe ripened is my guru devotion, like the devotional aspect um, of my practice is it feels sort of like at an all-time high, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm regularly, daily, like sort of like overwhelmed by feelings of gratitude, right, for the Dharma and for the way, like for all of the causes and conditions that have arisen to allow me this fortunate experience, right? Like, and this opportunity that's so precious, as you mentioned earlier. Like, I really, really feel that. And like, that increases the sense of devotion, right? And somehow, and that devotion is like it's love, right? And so that like that path of love and devotion and gratitude has fundamentally shifted something like in me, And it's not, I get it, things change. It's not always like that, right? The labyrinth we weave in and out as we're talking about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, when it's like this, it feels like some good juice,
Yeah.
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 Right.
So yeah,
Oh,
thanks
good.
for letting me share that, Jack. I
Of
appreciate
course.
that. It's fun to reflect on and yeah, super grateful for it. So yeah, but that's enough about me. I want to
Well,
hear
I think
about you.
what I love about us, sharing where we're at in our training and our practice is that it's really encouraging for me. But just knowing that, like, oh yeah, this stuff really works, right? And if we just kind of, step by step, day by day, keep applying the teaching,
That's it.
we are going to see results.
They will, and you know what Lama told me that I think is really important here is that sometimes it feels like the results come quickly, like boom, 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 right?
Mhm.
Like all of a sudden, just like damn, like everything feels like it just like a massive shift. And when I've had those kinds of experiences and talked to him about it, he's like, none of this happened quickly, right? It's
Mhm.
because of consistent diligent practice and effort over long periods of time. And sure, there's like a quick sort of like shift that you can experience, but that shift didn't happen quick. Like the you had to put the work into it to have that sort of quick shift.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
what you're saying is I mean, think about it. Every single practice, spiritual or not, is the same way. It's like whatever it is that you're practicing, that's what you're going to be. Like practice, practice, practice. Just keep doing it, right? If you want to be a good yogi, like whatever you want to do, just physical yoga or whatever, great. Like do it every day. You'll be great. You'll be really good at it.
Yeah, yeah,
You want to be a good meditator, just do it every day. You want to be a good writer, write every day, right?
yeah, yeah. That is it's just it is that discipline, and it can be joyful, right? We've talked so many times about
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
discipline that we've used in the past of very much rigidity and kind of punishing, and it's not it. That's
That's
not
not it. Not, no,
it.
no, definitely not. Yeah, I don't think like self-flagellation, beating ourselves up and that kind of thing, but that's not going to work, right? And that actually, I think that actually gets to what we were saying though, is like there's a feeling of I'm doing something,
Yeah,
right? And the
right.
more that you think I'm doing something, the more you think I should get something out of this.
Ugh, yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. I'm
And then
so
you're
tired
like,
of this eye.
yeah, I know,
I
right?
keep coming back to it.
You just you got it's kind of hopeless. You're like, I got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh boy.
Tell
Yeah.
me, Jack. Tell me about where you're at.
Yeah, I'm a little all over the place. So I have a new job I just started on Monday, and the 2 weeks, yeah, it's cool. I started at a community mental health agency, which kind of feels like almost like coming back home. I was in like a medical setting for a couple years, which was great. I learned a lot, but now I'm back at like the kind of the community mental health space, and that feels good. Um, the 2 weeks before that I had off of work. And so I'm noticing just how like uh my psyche um feels very like destabilized by all the change and like time off and whatnot.
Yeah, naturally.
This happens to me pretty much every time I um even take like a week off or
Yeah.
change a job or move, I have these kind of like destabilized kind of psychological experiences. Um so just watching it, I know that this is my pattern. And that's okay. Um, and also like we always talk about coming back around to something similar, coming back around to a pattern that, we've noticed before. But as our training develops and deepens, we come at it again, but in a different way, or
That's
it's a
right.
little bit more mature or a little bit less reactive to it. And I'm really noticing that where it's like, yeah, I'm having all this like anxiety, really intense anxiety, all this change, being out of like a schedule and routine. Um, but it doesn't, I'm not having the same kind of like rigid responses to it, like, oh my gosh, when is this ever going to end? And that kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
it's
actually
just,
kind of almost in line with what we're talking about tonight. Like, oh, this means it was the wrong decision, or this means, oh, it's bad, or it's not going to be good in the future,
like
right?
overly believing the mind,
Yeah.
So I'm not doing that quite as much. And enjoying my practice, my meditation. Um, Continue to do, Guru Rinpoche. Um, the the songs and the prayers are really what get me. Um, yeah, I went on a walk the other day and did like about I think it was a thousand mantras, and there's just this rhythm of mantra practice that is so powerful. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was beautiful. It was just, with trees and with
Yeah.
Guru Rinpoche, and really trying to uh bring my teacher there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so yeah, the things continue,
Yeah.
and just keep coming back to it. And really like the feeling of being tired of this like self-centered mind. It's just like
Mm.
uh
Yeah.
but not tired, not quite tired enough.
Right. I know, dude, I know what you're talking about. That what you're talking about right there. I have felt that so much where I'm like, will you please just shut the F
Just shut
up? Just
up.
stop. right? You're so obsessed about yourself, like stop it, you
Yeah,
know? But
totally.
no, it just keeps going, right? I'll notice, I'll be sitting there, I'll be doing the Guru Rinpoche mantra, and like yeah, and like just like you're saying, it's a nice rhythm, and I'm like, Guru's in me, this is beautiful, this is good, this is good. And then I'll notice like maybe 10, 20 mantras in at some point, I'll be like, dude, you're just sitting there thinking about yourself.
Yes.
You
Yes.
all I'm going to borrow words that the Dalai Lama uses in this book. I love your lust and your hatred, these strong, like strong feelings, right? Jealousy, all these, like we talked about recently. Like it just doesn't freaking stop, right?
Yes.
But the good news is that we're noticing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It can be so frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. You know what I
Yeah.
was gonna say? I think that the because I've noticed that same thing that you were talking about earlier about how the destabilizing effect of changes in your routine and your environment and stuff. But like just think like what a wonderful teaching that is about the nature of the self, right? And how it isn't actually a static thing. It's a thing that is composed of causes and conditions, right? And that it's this dynamic relational thing that's happening. And of course, when your relationships change and the people around you and your environment and everything shifts, of course you are going to shift. It's
Yeah.
not that it's not destabilizing. You were never stable to begin with. So,
Totally.
the
Yeah.
stability is the illusion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 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 Yeah, there's such a that shift, right, in perspective that seems really it's subtle, but it's really important where it's like, well, yeah, no shit, we're not separate from it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not a static Jack. There's no static Jack. Um,
mm,
yeah, I'm being affected by everything.
it wouldn't
Everything
be any
around me.
fun if there were.
Yeah, what would one even do?
Well, you wouldn't be able to be changed.
Yeah.
So, ew, like I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I like you and all, but I can't imagine a static. Your dynamism is a big part. Like that's a big part of what and who you are, right? So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and like being able to see one another change too is really like that's really cool. I love being able to watch your growth journey, and your how your practice is changing you, you know?
Right, right.
It's really like, oh yeah, this no,
Yeah.
that's the
The
cool part.
the
Yeah.
changeable part of it, that is the cool part, right? And notice it, in fact, sorry if I keep bringing this up, but in the book, the Dalai Lama actually says, notice in particular your relationship with your teacher, right? To see how, especially when you feel really grateful for them, how you are changing because of the teacher, right? And that itself is a lesson in impermanence and interdependence, right? And emptiness, right? That if we weren't dynamic, if we weren't changeable, there would be no opportunity for any of that growth, just like exactly what you're saying,
Mm.
right? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Embrace.
Yeah. Yeah. What do
Might
you
as
think?
well because it's happening, so
Should we embrace some Lojong
I'd
training?
love that. Let's
Would
do
you? Okay. All right. I thought you might. I was like, I kind of got the sense that you might be interested in that.
it.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah. Let me.
yeah. Oh, we have so many different ways to learn. It's so cool to think about like Lojong, Lam Tantra. So
It's
rad.
it's uh it's it's almost as if what do people sometimes say? We're on a teaching planet.
Teaching planet.
Yeah. Like like there's the guru is speaking to you all the time, teaching you all the time, never stops.
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
It's just a question of whether we're open to receive the teachings or not.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. 39. All activities should be done with one intention. And Sangye Gompa, translated by Thubten Jinpa, says, the purpose of all the scriptures and treatises is to attain liberation, and for this it is necessary to subdue self-grasping. Therefore, all activities of study, reflection, and meditation are for the sake of subduing self-grasping. How interesting that all of our, conversations
Yeah.
before Lojong tend to relate to Lojong because Lojong covers everything.
You
So,
would almost think that it was like somehow planned and that this wasn't actually a random Lojong slogan generator. But we promise you, this is it's random. Like we didn't do this on purpose, right? But yeah, exactly that. And not only that, but within our, Mahayana tradition, it's not just it's the reason why we want to subdue self-grasping is to be a great, to be a great benefit to all beings. And so with that, one of the most important things that we can do is to bring bodhicitta into all of these activities, right? To examine our intention. Why is it that I want to subdue? So, like, yes, all schools of Buddhism, want to subdue self-grasping. That's the Buddha's teaching. In particular for us, there's this extra sort of bodhicitta element to it of, right, but it's so that I can be of utmost benefit to all of these other mother sentient beings, right? That's why I want to do that. And just like so many of the other practices that we've talked about in the past, like that, that bringing bodhicitta into all of these activities has the effect of subduing self-grasping, right? You can't, but it has to be like authentic, right? It has to be a genuine wish. And as the more that it becomes genuine, actual bodhicitta, then the more effective it is at reducing this self-cherishing behavior.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly, truly. Ah,
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Ooh, whoa. I don't think we've seen this one before.
I don't recall seeing it ever before.
Yeah. So Bodhisattva Vajrapani, and I'm wondering who this smaller figure on the right is.
Doesn't
But
say.
interesting.
It's
Huh.
kind of strange, right?
It's
Like,
very
I don't
strange.
know that I've ever seen a statue like that where like it's not clear that like it's you don't know, is that a child or is it
Yeah,
a
right, right. Or is it like, yeah, yeah. Is the Vajrapani just very, very large?
I'm
Interesting.
I'm opening I'm gonna save this because I'm gonna look it up a little bit later.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you learned.
Yeah, for sure. Huh, beautiful.
Awesome. All right. Um,
What are we talking about tonight?
what are we talking? Right, we're talking about that we can't predict the future. How we
Correct.
that how hard that is sometimes for our little minds.
Yeah. Yeah, when I like in the morning like if I wake up early in the morning and like something happens, like I stub my toe or I step into a cold shower or something, I'm like, this day is shot.
Oh yeah,
This whole day,
whole day.
it's just like I might as well just like curl up and go back to bed because it's over, right? This is how it's gonna be.
Oh my goodness.
Not true.
Not
Not
true.
true. Not true. But
Probably
that
is.
type of thinking does have a way of creating unpleasant effects.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm curious, before we dive in, I'm wondering if there was anything that brought this up for you as a topic. Do you remember?
No, I think it's just so I'm pro like I don't know if this is exactly it, but I'm sort of prone to magical thinking.
Hmm.
And so lot of times I read things into situations that just aren't there. There's no, like my mind's literally just making crap up, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
And so like that's a pretty chronic problem for me. And so,
Very
it
common
does,
one.
yeah, yeah, and it does show up in this sort of way, where, I just sort of yeah, like I'll attribute goodness to things that aren't so good and vice versa, right? Like I'm just confused and ignorant. That's just my general state. So, of course, it shows itself in these sort of ways where I think I know something, right? So like what I like about the topic is that it's really that we don't know and we cannot know the future and that embracing that uncertainty and still engaging with the world, there is a way to do that, right? And that's a brave warrior path, as Chogyam Trungpa would say, is to say like, yeah, it is uncertain. Yes, we do not know what the effects are going to be, but one thing that we know is that virtuous actions lead to good outcomes,
Yeah,
right? Um, and non vice versa. And so we can trust that, as he himself says, that our own discovery of goodness, right? And that we can, if we live that way, we can be authentic, genuine, and live with all the uncertainty as long as we're practicing mind training and trying to cultivate virtuous behavior with our body, speech, and mind, right? That's the way to do it because then you know that it's literally the best thing you could do. Are there going to be obstacles? Hell yeah, there's going to be obstacles. Is stuff going to happen, show up that's going to be unpleasant? Yeah, yeah. In fact, that's the practice, right? Is to not, as you said earlier, to watch your reactive patterns and to work with them so that when those obstacles arise, you work with them skillfully rather than in this reactive sort of way. And so
mhm.
I think that's why it came up for me.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, and you mentioned something that feels really important about this is that like at the same time that we can't predict, the specifics of the future, we don't know how things are going to turn out. We do know like if we have some faith in the teachings and the teaching of karma in particular, we can predict that in the future and future lives we are going to experience the ripening of that good karma,
Yeah.
or bad karma, right, or neutral karma, um and so it's like having to hold both of those at the same time. And what's especially hard for me with this, um is that like when I notice one of these ruts, I kind of feel like, gosh, like, what's the point? That kind of like really just like defeatist attitude, and
Hmm.
very short-sighted, just so extremely short-sighted perspective. Um, and something that really helps me is to remember the phrase that Thupten Chodron has taught a couple times, which is, just to be appreciative, to be grateful for creating the causes in this. So just in this life, even if we don't experience the ripening of the positive actions that we're taking and meditating and all the things, um, we can be grateful that we're creating the causes to experience the
Oh,
ripening of that in the
I like
future.
that. Yeah.
Um, so that sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow because I'm like, but I want to experience, I want to experience the ripening of that now. Um, but again, there's that kind of
But that's the
short,
thing is that we're always experiencing the ripening.
right? Yeah, of something. Yeah, of our karma constantly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly that. But um, there is this sort of tendency for us to kind of like because we're like our our minds are like pattern recognition machines, right? And there's something deeply satisfying about knowing, about being able to predict predict something in the future, whether it's the stock market or whatever, a relationship, you name it, right? Like there's something terribly satisfying about that. And so I think that we're kind of compulsive in this, like in that kind of behavior of needing to know and to predict,
Mm.
so that we can, and think about it. What is it? So that we can pursue those eight worldly concerns,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like that's actually why, so that we can, whatever, have, avoid loss and pursue gain and all of those, right? Like that's why we're so interested in this. If we weren't wrapped up in the eight worldly concerns, we wouldn't be compulsively concerned about like anticipating the future, right? It wouldn't, it's not that it doesn't matter. That's not true at all. It matters a lot. But the prediction aspect of it, it does not matter. What does matter, I remember this old, I think it's like a hermeneutic saying, not, but it's like you're entitled to your actions, but not to their results, right? So like,
Hmm.
like you can do you have to make choices. You have to engage in action. You don't have a choice. You have to do that. And so, do what you do, but don't, if you're goal oriented and you're like, it has to be that particular outcome, that's going to skew what you're doing, right? Your intention behind it actually skews it quite a lot.
Ooh, yeah, boy, it does.
I notice it in business all the time, right?
Yeah.
When people are chasing just money, they're like, I need money, which is, clearly that's why people work and so on, right? But like when that is the goal, then it totally, like in so many cases, backfires and doesn't yield the results they want because how they're going about it is like too direct, you know? And so, trying to be a little bit more like, uh, I think living in accordance with our values is way more important than trying to obtain specific outcomes or goals. And I think that, if you value virtuous behavior, and that discovery of goodness, as Trungpa talks about, then you can just, as you said, you can just rest easy knowing that the best will come out of it.
Mm.
Like, whatever that is. It may not be a favorable outcome. I mean, it could be still, I mean, you're still gonna die,
Yeah, right.
like you're not gonna be able to live forever, that kind of stuff. But still better outcomes than would be if you pursued, non-virtuous behavior.
Right, right. So we can predict the future a little bit, but not fully. We have you noticed like so as you're kind of like tracking your growth and progress and thinking back to maybe like early baby Buddhist days, did you like predict any of where you could be going? Like
No,
what was
no,
yeah,
no, not at
because your
all.
mindset's totally like you're
Zero. Like
yeah.
and this is actually, it's been very helpful to me to realize that like I say, I know this sounds like hyperbole, but every time that I think I know something
Mm,
about Buddhism or practice or teacher-student relationship, you name it, sangha, as if I think I know something, I have been wrong every single time,
yeah.
right? So that's been really helpful, right? Because I'm like, I can actually just kind of chill and not know. I just do the things that do the practices and trust the process. And then like we're saying, goodness will unfold, right? Whatever it is. And it just doesn't look ever the
Yeah.
way that I imagine. Any of my growth or any of the things that have happened or risen in my life and changes in relationships, I couldn't have anticipated any of it. I'm sure there are people who could, right? Like maybe they've read more or I don't know. But in my case, I had no clue what I was doing when I got here. I still don't have any clue what I'm doing, right? But I have developed a lot of faith
Mm,
along the way. and like I was saying at the outset, a great deal of gratitude for what has transpired, right? I've never climbed this path to this extent before. I couldn't know what the view was like. I couldn't, right?
Yeah.
Because I've never been there before. But because of, good karma or whatever in the past, here I am at a place where I've never been before. And yeah, it's sometimes difficult, sometimes hard, all that stuff. But it's pretty nice view from where I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
But I still don't know what's up ahead, Jack.
Yeah.
I have no clue, right? Like I was talking to a friend the other day. I was talking about she asked me, what's been one of the bigger shifts that you've noticed in your practice, and a big part of it is relatively recent in terms of real big heart opening, like a lot more connection with my heart space that I never experienced before.
Mm.
And I was actually a little bit worried prior to this happening. I could see where it was kind of going, and I remember even talking to Lama. I was like, "Fuck, I'm scared, man. Like I think
Yeah.
there's gonna be some dark." Gnarly stuff in there, right? Like there's a reason I shoved it down and hit it, right?
Yeah.
Like and then what was fun was like it turned out that, what I've been blessed with in terms of an experience is a lot of joy and a lot of
Mm.
gratitude and all this great energy and stuff. And my friend was like, yeah, that's really wonderful. That's such a great experience. Um, the dark stuff will come though.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she couldn't predict the future either, so who knows?
Right. That's true. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we can safely make certain assumptions.
Yeah, yeah, it's not going to be light forever. The sun doesn't stay shining 24 hours a day. When you're walking the labyrinth, sometimes you're at the outside and it feels cold and you feel lost and it's dark and it's scary and all that. Like, we know this, right? And exactly what you were saying earlier, like, we begin to sort of see, like, oh, like, we see the whole thing, right? And that gives us that perspective, lets us go through the shit, you
Yeah.
know, and be like, oh, right, that's where I'm at right now. I'm in this hard, whatever these ice fields, these doldrums, or I'm in this difficult to navigate territory or whatever. I'm getting scraped, bruises, you name it, whatever it is. But you're like, I see it in this bigger context, and I know I'm capable because I did it before. I know I can trust the teacher. I know I can trust the teachings, right? And so in that sense, I think it gets easier, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that the gnarly stuff doesn't still appear.
Right. Right. Hmm. That's what's so helpful about knowing that there is a path, you know? That kind of certainty there of like that as long as I'm kind of following this, regardless of the external circumstances, there's refuge in that. Um, and there's a kind of freedom in choosing a path. Um, I think yeah, so much of my like anxiety in the past was just, like about unknown, right? Which I think a lot of anxiety is just about the unknown, about the future.
Yeah.
Um, but partly what's been so helpful about Dharma practice and study is that there is that kind of, there's just this stable path. It's written out for us. Like we have the information. I've said this before, but I can see, several books on my meditation stand there where if I really studied, like really, really deeply studied those, I could achieve enlightenment. Like
Yeah.
just right there. There's enlightenment right
Yeah.
there.
Right there
Um,
in the palm of your hands.
right there in the palm of your hand. Um, and so that feels really grounding when there's like this anxiety around not being able to predict or control what's going to happen externally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it is. I couldn't agree with you more. One of the questions that naturally arises then is why do we not practice as if our hair is on fire?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Why not? Why not? Why not? I'm thinking.
Yeah. It-
I I think forgetfulness for me is one of the main ones. Just forgetfulness. I forget throughout the day, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. That I'm on the path. I'm like I'm this is the training, the practice right now. And I get wrapped up in eight worldly concerns,
yeah.
believing my emotions, believing my thoughts, you know.
I
Um,
I I think it's interesting. So one of the practices that I love is one that like I don't know, it's one that everybody who's taken refuge has practiced at least once, and that's the refuge sadhana, right?
yeah.
And I notice when I visualize the field of merit and I'm doing this practice, it's interesting because in the beginning, it feels like they are over there and they are pristine and pure,
Mm,
enlightened, helpful, benefiting all beings in these wild and mysterious ways. And I am over here, one of those lowly, needy,
wretched.
yeah. And I'm here with all these other suffering beings, and they are going to help me. I need to take refuge in them, right? And I begin, then there's this like, but I want to be on that side, right? I don't want to be on this side. I want to be on that side. And then there's this kind of fun thing that kind of happens where I'm like, wait, I, I'm I am. I'm both, right? Like it's not there isn't a separation here, right? And indeed, I am participating in this great, beautiful mandala, right? This thing, this amazing lineage, this tradition, this I don't know even have words to describe it, right? But I am participating in it, and I'm doing the same thing they did and have done and are doing, right? And we are, in fact, all doing this together. Nobody's getting enlightened alone.
Mhm. Right, right.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, knowing that there's that support constantly um is
Developing some, yeah, some confidence in that,
right.
right? It's critical. And it takes like that. I think that's the when we say, well, why aren't we, pursuing it like our hair's on fire? Like it's these conditioned patterns, right? It's exactly the very thing, this misperceived self that we were talking about at the outset, right? Like it just keeps happening. Like on the one hand, yes, we're practicing and yes, there's stuff happening as a result of those practices, but also we haven't actually cut the root yet. Right.
Yeah.
It's still there, but something's happening, right? There's a period of time where the root is not cut, but you're cutting.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
bad it's like crabgrass, though.
Yeah, it's just yeah,
You know
it's
what I
tough.
mean?
It's tough.
You could keep trying to rip it out, and it just doesn't go away.
For
The
sure.
other thing is, I think, is that we do. So one of the things that uh, in the context of all of this, one of the things that both Trungpa and Pema Chodron talk about a decent amount is how I think the way that Trungpa says it is, even if our lives go right, there are still difficulties and
Mm,
obstacles always arise. So it's easy to believe if I'm a good person, I'm a good practitioner and I'm doing all the right things and I'm virtuous and so on and so forth, then there won't be any obstacles, there won't be any difficulties, and that's delusional.
it is.
Right? So, and
Yeah.
that, like that's actually that if you're thinking like that, that's that kind of magical thinking, right? Like
Mm.
that is ignorance, that is delusional, that is just a figment of this sort of misperceived self, if you will. And that the real work, and part of the reason why sometimes I think we uh, maybe aren't studying the books is because we are, in fact, navigating and working with those obstacles, right? Like
Mm.
not all of Dharma practice is studying and meditating. A whole lot of it is, working with what's arising right in front of us, including all of those obstacles and working with the poisons and, like, and so sometimes we get a little bit like we're just doing the work. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that we're not practicing Dharma. It means that we're not practicing Dharma by reading at the moment.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I do have to, I feel like I do need to be mindful around having the intention about that in my everyday, because the intention to be practicing the path is not always there
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
because of that forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so how to keep coming back to intention and motivation um, is,
I would
yeah.
say it's more important. Like to me, that part of it is more important than any formal practice.
Mm,
Like
mhm,
sitting down and meditating for half an hour, nice. But if you don't know
mhm.
why you're doing it,
What's it gonna do? Yeah.
yeah, like maybe it'll settle your mind a little bit. Maybe you'll feel calmer. That's all nice. Like nothing wrong with that, right? But it would be better to have the intention of like, I just want to relax right now, and that's what I'm doing, right?
Yeah,
If
knowing
you just
why.
be honest and
Yeah.
yeah, knowing why you're doing it, and I honestly think that the other aspect of that intention is to it has to be so it's like they say there's like relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta, right? And the relative practicing that's really important, where on the one hand we might say things like we might do the Brahma Viharas or whatever, right? And be like, may all beings, have happiness and the causes of happiness. But if it's just reciting, it's nice, it's good, it's doing something. But if we actually stop and are like, do I do I want to actually be the cause of, other people's, relief from suffering and their happiness? Am I willing to do like I know that that's hard. I know that beings are troublesome. I know that my cat is not going to give me a standing ovation. Do I still, he's kind of a jerk sometimes and demanding. Do I still really actually want to be a cause for his happiness and like
Mm,
that kind of thing? Like, do I really like actually like a check in, like,
yeah.
and being honest about that. Sometimes maybe we don't feel it, but I think that that intention exploring it is how we discover the goodness that enables us to live these good lives that have desirable outcomes in the future,
Yeah.
as unknowable as it might be.
It sounds like it's, the process of becoming more awake, right? Just more awake to what I'm experiencing, what my true intentions are in the
Yeah,
moment,
yeah, yeah.
And
And
yeah, and
maybe,
kindness. Mhm.
sorry, maybe enlightenment
Mm,
is not static either,
hmm,
right? Maybe awakening or awakened is not static either. Maybe it is a it just doesn't stop, right?
yeah, yeah.
Which, that
We
would
can
be kind
see
of
it
cool.
in our teachers.
What's that?
We can see it in our teachers,
It sure
right?
seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Daniel, thank you for this
Mm,
conversation.
so good,
Um,
Jack. So good.
yeah, I think I am gonna do some sitting after this and yeah,
Check your intention.
check the intention, maybe that
Yeah.
first. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I hope you have a really good sit. I'm headed over to the gym to work out with my kid.
Nice. Good for you. That
Yeah,
sounds great.
it is. It's a different form of training.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you so much for the conversation, Jag. It was warm and wonderful as always.
Yeah, yeah, same for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate you.
same.
Thanks everybody for listening in. If you can make a donation, lionsfordharmacenter.org, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, we will.
We'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye, Jack.